The NICU was supposed to be sacred, 24 weeks and 3 days. That's when my son Oliver decided to make his entrance into the world. 1 pound, 7 ounces of pure fight wrapped in wires and tubes. The doctors called him a micro-preemie. I called him my miracle. For 2 months, I lived in that hospital. The Ronald McDonald House became my second home, and the rhythmic beeping of Oliver's monitors became my lullaby. Oxygen saturation, heart rate, respiratory rate. I could read those numbers in my sleep. Actually, I did read them in my sleep, jolting awake every time they dipped even slightly. My husband Daniel worked double shifts to keep our insurance active. We'd already burned through our savings during the emergency C-section and the first month of care. But Oliver was gaining weight, breathing more on his own. The doctors were optimistic. Maybe another month, Dr. Patel had said. He's a fighter. That's when my parents decided to visit. They'd been absent for most of the crisis, too busy with my younger brother Connor's senior year of college. He was pre-law at Stanford, their golden child who could do no wrong. While I'd been sleeping in hospital chairs, they'd been attending his mock trial competitions and fraternity parent weekends. We're finally coming to meet our grandson, Mom announced over the phone, as if 2 months late was right on schedule. Connor has a big interview with a law firm tomorrow, so we'll swing by on our way. Swing by, like the NICU was a drive-through. They arrived at 3 p.m., dressed like they were going to a country club. Mom wrinkled her nose at the hand sanitizer requirement. Dad kept checking his phone. Connor slouched and looking bored, his hair perfectly styled, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. So small, Mom murmured, peering at Oliver through the incubator. Are you sure he's normal? He's premature, Mom. He's perfect. He just needs time to grow. Connor barely glanced at Oliver before pulling out his phone. Shit, my phone's dying. Where can I charge this? Language, Mom chided gently, then looked around. He really does need to charge it, honey. His interview call is in an hour. There's a family lounge down the hall, I said, not taking my eyes off Oliver. He was having a good day, only on 30% oxygen, his little chest rising and falling steadily. That's too far, Connor whined. They'll have bad reception there. That's when Dad spotted it, the red outlet next to Oliver's incubator. The one with the bright yellow medical equipment only, do not unplug sticker. The one powering Oliver's oxygen monitor and pulse oximeter. Perfect, he said, reaching for the cords. Dad, no. I lunged forward, but he'd already unplugged the pulse oximeter to make room for Connor's iPhone charger. The alarms exploded instantly. Not just beeps, screaming, wailing electronic shrieks that brought nurses running. Oliver's oxygen monitor flickered and died as Dad fumbled with the cords, trying to plug Connor's phone in. What's the big deal? Mom said as nurses flooded in. He has an important call. Move ye. The charge nurse, Patricia, shoved past them to Oliver. His lips were turning dusky. Without the monitors, we couldn't see his oxygen levels, couldn't track his heart rate. She manually checked his pulse while another nurse rushed to reconnect everything. His O2 was dropping. Patricia barked. Get respiratory here now. I watched in horror as they increased his oxygen, worked over his tiny body. Those 2 minutes felt like 2 years. Finally, the monitors flickered back online. Oxygen at 82%. Too low. Heart rate elevated. My baby was struggling. Stop overreacting, Dad said to the nurses. Babies are tough. He's fine. Patricia turned on him with fury I'd never seen. Get out. Security is on their way. You can't kick us out, Mom protested. We're family. You just endangered a critical patient, Patricia snapped. You unplugged life support EQIP mate. Get out before I have you arrested. Connor, oblivious to the chaos, was complaining about his phone only being at 15%. Can't you plug it in for just 5 minutes? My interview. Out, I screamed, finding my voice. G-L-U-T. Security arrived and escorted them away, Mom huffing about rudeness, Dad muttering about oversensitive millennials, Connor still whining about his phone. Oliver spent the next 12 hours struggling. His oxygen requirements increased. He had 2 bradycardia episodes, his heart rate dropping dangerously low. Dr. Patel was called in at midnight. He was doing so well, she said softly. Sometimes these setbacks, we'll watch him closely. I didn't sleep that night, or the next. Daniel flew back from a work trip, taking emergency leave. We sat vigil while Oliver fought to restabilize. 3 days. 3 days of progress lost because my parents thought a phone call mattered more than my baby's life. But here's what my parents didn't know. The NICU has cameras. Everything is recorded. Every second of their entitled negligence was captured in high definition. The hospital's legal department was very interested in the footage, especially when Patricia filed an incident report. They also didn't know that Daniel's best friend from college was now a medical malpractice attorney. Not that we were suing the hospital, they'd done everything right, but Jake knew other lawyers. Lawyers who specialize in things like criminal endangerment of a minor, reckless engagement, and interestingly, elder abuse law, because it turns out deliberately sabotaging medical equipment is a crime, regardless of the patient's age. While Oliver fought to recover, I made phone calls. The first was to Stanford Law School's ethics board. Did they know one of their star students had endangered an infant's life? That there was video evidence of them standing by while medical equipment was unplugged for his convenience. Law firms, I learned, were very interested in the moral character of their potential hires. The second was to my father's employer. He worked in hospital administration. Ironically enough, his boss was horrified to learn about the NICU incident. Liability concerns, you understand. The third was to Adult Protective Services, not for elder abuse, but to report 2 adults who clearly couldn't comprehend basic safety warnings. If they'd unplug life support equipment for a phone charger, what else might they do? Perhaps they needed evaluation. But the real revenge started with Connor's interview. See, my little brother had always bragged about his connections. How he was networking his way to the top. How his Instagram showed the perfect law student life. 50K followers watching his journey to legal stardom. What he didn't know was that I'd been screenshotting everything for years. Every post where he bragged about cheating on exams. Every story showing him drunk at parties while claiming to be studying. Every DM he'd sent to girls from his throwaway account, the one he didn't know I knew about. The legal community is small. Smaller than Connor realized. When partners at law firms started receiving anonymous packages with printed screenshots, with video of the NICU incident, with documentation of Connor Fitzgerald's true character, well, interviews started getting canceled. I don't understand, he texted me frantically. Every firm suddenly says they're going in a different direction. Even my safety schools rejected me. I didn't reply. I was too busy holding Oliver, who was finally stable enough for kangaroo care, skin-to-skin contact. His tiny body against my chest, his heart beating against mine. Alive. Despite everything. My parents tried to do damage control. Mom posted on Facebook about being kicked out for simply trying to help our son prepare for his future. The comments didn't go the way she expected. Turns out, NICU nurses have social media too, and they have opinions about people who unplug medical equipment. The post went viral for all the wrong reasons. Screenshots spread across parenting groups, medical professional forums, legal ethics discussions. #NICU Nightmare started trending. Connor's Instagram followers dropped by thousands daily as the story spread. Dad lost his job within a week. Hospital administration couldn't keep someone who'd shown such catastrophic judgment around medical equipment. Mom's book club politely suggested she take a break from attending. Their church small group suddenly had scheduling conflicts. Connor never did get that law firm job, or any law firm job. The legal community has a long memory, and the video of him standing there, annoyed about his phone battery while my baby struggled to breathe, became infamous in certain circles. He ended up taking a retail job, his Stanford law degree worthless in the face of his ruined reputation. But that wasn't the end. 3 months later, Oliver finally came home. 4 pounds of perfect baby boy, no longer needing oxygen support. The same week, I got a call from the district attorney's office. They'd reviewed the NICU footage and were pressing charges. Reckless endangerment of a minor. Interference with life support equipment. The list went on. My parents needed lawyers, expensive ones. They drained their retirement fund fighting the charges, but video evidence is hard to dispute. Dad got 6 months in jail, Mom got probation and community service. Connor wasn't charged, but he was named in every news story. His legal career was over before it began. They tried to contact me throughout the trial, begging for forgiveness, for me to speak on their behalf. I never responded. I was too busy with Oliver's physical therapy, his developmental checkups, building a life they'd almost stolen from us. The universe has a funny way of balancing things out, though. Connor's important interview, it had been with Morrison and Associates. 2 years later, I was at a pediatric follow-up appointment when I struck up a conversation with another mom in the waiting room. Her name was Jennifer Morrison. Her husband was the hiring partner at Morrison and Associates. Wait, she said, eyes widening as I told her about Oliver's NICU stay. Connor Fitzgerald is your brother? He's the phone charger guy? Apparently the story had become legendary in their firm. A cautionary tale told to new hires about the importance of character. They dodged a bullet by not hiring him, she said. Anyone who would endanger a baby for a phone charge couldn't be trusted with clients' lives and livelihoods. Your son saved us from a terrible mistake, she said, then paused. Is he doing okay now? I showed her a photo on my phone. Oliver at 2 years old, chubby-cheeked and laughing, chasing bubbles in our backyard. No trace of the fragile micro-preemie who'd fought so hard to survive. He's perfect, I said. The last I heard about my family was from a cousin. They'd moved to a small apartment in another state, trying to escape the notoriety. Connor worked at a cell phone store. Ironically appropriate. Mom and Dad lived on Social Security, their savings gone to legal fees. They'd sent one final letter through the cousin. Pages of justifications, blame shifting, claims that I'd ruined their lives over a simple mistake. I threw it away unopened. Oliver was taking his first steps, and I didn't want to miss a second of it. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear the phantom beeping of NICU monitors. But then I peek into Oliver's room, watch his chest rise and fall naturally, no wires attached, no alarms needed. He's 4 now, starting pre-K in the fall. Smart as a whip, the teachers say. Full of energy, a miracle. His favorite toy? A doctor's kit. He likes to check everyone's heartbeat with his plastic stethoscope. Beep, 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 he says, mimicking the monitors he no longer remembers. All good. Yes, baby, all good. And when he asks about grandparents, why he doesn't have any like his friends, I tell him a simplified truth. Some people aren't safe to be around, sweetheart, so we made our own family instead. Our chosen family includes Patricia, the charge nurse who saved his life and became his honorary grandmother. Dr. Patel, who cried happy tears at his first birthday party. The other NICU families who understood what we'd been through. Real family doesn't unplug your life support. Real family guards it with their own lives. Connor's phone. I heard he finally got it charged. Cost him everything, but hey, at least he didn't miss that important call. Though somehow, I doubt it was worth it. The interview he was so desperate to take. He failed it anyway. Turns out, when you're rattled from causing a medical emergency, you don't interview well. The universe has a sense of humor like that. Me? I sleep soundly now, knowing my son is safe. Knowing the people who endanger him can never come near him again. Knowing that sometimes the best revenge isn't elaborate planning or calculated destruction. Sometimes it's simply documenting the truth and letting consequences follow naturally. They had no idea what was coming next. Neither did I, honestly. I had no master plan that day in the NICU. Just a mother's fury and a baby fighting to breathe. Turns out, that was enough. More than enough. It was everything.